everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining the Boardroom Club today to our innovation conference, featuring executives from top tech companies across AI, analytics, cyber, fintech, quantum computing, CRM, and HCM. My name is Yossi Garmazi, second year MBA at Cornell, and I'm joined here also by a classmate and a good friend of mine, Jacob Chizunza. Jacob?
Oh yeah, thank you very much. So today we are fortunate to interview none other than Ronni Zehavi, a successful CEO entrepreneur out of Israel. Ronni was co-founder CEO of Contento, which later was acquired by Akami, and currently he is the co-founder and the CEO of HiBob, an HR platform designed to fast-growing companies, helping them manage employee experience, performance, compensation, and an intuitive data-driven approach. Ronni, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Hello.
So, Ronni, we thought to start by asking you, first of all, what led you to the tech world, given you didn't come from the typical tech background?
So I'm in tech by mistake. I did not graduate 8200 the engineering elite in the Israeli army in the IDF. And I didn't study computer science or mathematics in university. I actually wanted to be a psychologist, and I studied history. I was offered in the last century to join a business called Comtouch. It was a web-based email company that competed with Yahoo. I mean, we all know Yahoo today, but the company was founded in Israel and then expanded to the US. And I had I was lucky to be part of this company. I was hired to run HR for the company with no relevant HR, but I guess the founders found a good individual, maybe a good talent to invest in, and this is how I got to tech. So I spent time in tech in between 1997. Comtouch went public in 1991. All the high days of the bubble, the internet bubble. Then I moved to a sales position and business development position, still with Comtouch. And in 2007, I co-founded Contento in the CDN space, raised capital from Sequoia Capital, Benchmark Capital, and it was a very nice exit story. After 3.5 years since the company was founded, the company was acquired by Akamai. Then I spent 2 years with Akamai as the head of the security business unit. Then I left, joined Teammate in the cybersecurity space. I was one of the founders of Teammate. Then, believe it or not, I decided that cyber is boring, and I left Teammate. And then I found myself entrepreneur in residence at Bessemer Venture Partners, who ended up being our seed investor for HiBob. I spent about 9 months with Bessemer, and HiBob was incubated when I was EIR with Bessemer about 9.5 years ago, and the rest is history. Now we're here.
Yeah, amazing story. And I was just curious, even before HiBob, is there any lesson that you learned from all your previous experience that helped you to be a successful entrepreneur, both in HiBob, but also before that in Contento? Because after all, also Contento was acquired by Akamai.
Obviously, we can talk 2 days about it, but if I need to summarize it, I would say that you don't know if you can be an entrepreneur unless you try it. Once you try it, you will never go back. It's so addictive. And I remember one of my board members telling me before Contento was acquired by Akamai, once you are an entrepreneur, you will never want to work for another manager. And he was right. So it's in your veins, basically being an entrepreneur. I think you need to be very curious about, as an individual, a good learner, a great team player, people first. At the end of the day, you hire people, you manage them, you raise capital from investors. They are humans. You sell to people, to companies, your customers. So you are surrounded by people. As if you have a strong EQ and you know how to work with people, that's a strong advantage. Also, resilience is important because the roller coaster is crazy, the ups and the downs. It's something that you really have to be very strong and resilient as an individual to deal with those changes. As a CEO, you only deal with problems because they get escalated to you. And you need to make sure that the company is going in the right direction. If you're not able to raise money, it's your problem. If you're not meeting your numbers, it's your problem. If an important executive in the company is leaving the business, it's your problem. So if you need to sell the company, it's your problem. So I think resilience is very important. And then maybe the last one is, are you a leader or not? Leader means that people needs to trust you and to follow you, and you need to be a people person. You need to be transparent with people. You need to be honest. You need to believe in people. So I think it's a combination of so many factors, but and also experience. What I know today is way different than what I knew 15 years ago. It's not that it's a recipe not to do mistakes. There's one thing I did more than all of us in this call is mistakes, and you need to be able to deal with the changes, mistakes. So experience is important, and if you don't have enough, then surround yourself with experienced people that can support you.
You talk about the experience, and I noticed also that you started the Contento, the first company that you founded, at very tricky time, let's say it like this, in the financial crisis. So I think just after the financial crisis, can you share with us how did it affect your strategy early on, and how it maybe your market developed there over time?
Yeah, so Contento was founded in January 2008. The famous Rest in Peace by Sequoia was a few weeks after. I heard, I think it was Mike Moritz from Sequoia who said, great companies are built and the market is very cloudy and it's very challenging. And I agree with that. I think you have to be very disciplined, and you have to think about how to build a lean organization. Raising a lot of money, I think it's a problem more than an advantage, because then you tend to do more. And I think the one thing that is key for entrepreneurs is to decide what not to do, because there's so many ideas, so many directions that are supposed to be available for you as a business leader, but you need to make tough decisions about what not to do. So if it's hard to raise capital, compare 2008 to the high days of 2021, the Unicorn Festival, where money was free. So when money was free, you tend to do a lot. You pay insane salaries. You don't think about your spend, versus a company that was built into a cloudy market and economical crisis. By the way, we are now in a market that is recovering from the festival, with huge uncertainties around us about the global economy, about the geopolitical issues. So money, the interest rate is not low as it was 3 or 4 years ago. So money is more expensive than before. So I think it's a great timing for entrepreneurs to come up with ideas with the right mindset. Very similar to my experience in 2008 and what I saw in 2001 after the bubble burst, and after the internet hype.
super interesting and insightful indeed. And also maybe a follow-up going to be about Contento at the early days, because you started it back when there was a big players out there, for example, Akamai. What was your initial go-to market there? And maybe if you can elaborate how you were able to scale so quickly and at the end of the day sell the company only after 3.5 years.
Contento was in the CDN space. It's a networking game. When we founded the company, we had an idea that eventually didn't work. So we figured out that it will not work, and we have to reinvent ourselves as we went through the build of the company. So I think the opportunity was one on the product side. The platform was amazing. My co-founder Udi was one of the brilliant engineer I came across, and he built from ground up an amazing proxy that Akamai ended up deploying in the network after the company was acquired. So he came with a brilliant approach that you don't need to have so many POPs deployed all around the internet. You can have a few, but with a very efficient proxies. So a smart pump is better than endless of pipes. That was the pitch. This is one thing. The second thing we did very well was on the go-to-market side. We managed to start selling very early on. I relocated to California, so we gained some very interesting customers. Facebook was a startup in the early days of Contento, and Facebook was a customer. Twitter was a customer, and we signed a partnership agreement with AT&T, and AT&T basically distributed our CDN offering to the customers. And you're right. Exactly 3.5 years since the company was founded, we got a term sheet, an LOI to sell a Contento to Akamai, and then we decided this is the right direction for the company, and I think it was right for Akamai as well, and that was a nice exit.
Yeah, definitely. Taking you now a little bit before starting HiBob, you went to the VC world. So before you returned to the entrepreneurship, you joined Team8. What led you to focus at cyber companies specifically and leave after this to Bessemer?
So I managed the security business unit for Akamai after the acquisition of Contento. So security was a small business within Akamai, and the vision of the CEO, Akamai CEO, was we should be a security company that does CDN as well, and not the other way around. I think they reached the point that their security business is as big as the CDN business. So I built for the first time the security business unit, and we hired a lot of great talent here in Tel Aviv. As you all know, Israel is known for a great cybersecurity talent. So I knew about cybersecurity. Comtouch was also in the cybersecurity space, but I joined Team8 because of I would say the revolutionary thoughts we brought to the game. It was a combination of a VC, new companies, new startups, so a foundry model that was very attractive and interesting. So I spent about 2 years with Team8, and then left. I left because, again, I thought that cybersecurity is boring, and I was so right about not about cybersecurity being boring, about to discover that HR tech is one of the most fascinating markets to be in, and I'm glad about the move.
Yeah, and actually we're gonna have Yuval Tal from the fintech side of Team8 in I think it's next week. And actually, our first speaker was Ronen Arzia. Yeah, we got a good present from Team8. And taking you now to HiBob, early days. You started HiBob, as you said, out of Bessemer. But I was just curious, who were HiBob's first client, and how do you initially target a specific niche, or how the go-to-market develop?
HCM in general is it's a huge market. To be honest, we underestimated how complex it is to be a player in this domain. Building an HCM, it's one of the most complex project, and still it's complex. But we knew we looked at the market and we thought that it's a very interesting market for the following reasons. One, there was a segment in the market that was underserved. There was a huge a business that was built for the enterprise customers. Giants such as Oracle, SAP, ADP, Workday, UKG, Dayforce, that were focused on the sub-enterprise and enterprise were perfectly playing the game. It took them years to build. By the way, when they built their platform, it was built around about 20, 25 years ago. Remember that because that was the secret sauce for us when we came and we innovated. So that was on the upper market. The small size were also dominated by huge players. For example, Xero or Intuit. So the in-between market, the mid-size, when it was too small for the big ones and it was too big for the small ones, was neglected. And this is a huge market to go after. It's about $130 billion market. There was only one player from the US who tried to play the game globally. The rest were domestic, players within Germany, within Spain, within the UK, Australia, of course, in the US, very crowded in the US. So we identified the what we call internally the triple M, the three M's, mid-sized companies, modern companies, and multinational companies. Those are the M's. The fact that we came fresh with a modern tech stack allowed us to innovate and to identify that the market can be easily disrupted by a modern technology that we've built. So the M business is very attractive. And by the way, when you think about this market today, we see more and more players are basically coming down to the M. Some of them are coming because of they focus on the enterprise and they want to capture sub-enterprise or mid-size, and the small ones want to gain market share and to go up with their customers. So the combination of innovation, great a sizable market to go after, and I think the fact that the company was founded in Israel, so we were global from day one. Israel is a very small country. You cannot rely on selling locally. So you have to think global from day one. And usually startups in Israel are going west quickly to America. We decided not to do it, and we started in the UK, and then we expanded to other countries in the UK, then opened Australia, and we opened US only 5 years ago after COVID.
Last question for myself before we moving on to Jacob. Ronen, you have a lot of experience as an entrepreneur, both in Contento and now at HiBob. So maybe to take your take on growing organically versus M&A, and specifically about M&A, we noticed that HiBob is very active there with acquisition like bugle, Pento, and the recent one, Mosaic.
So I'm a great believer in unorganic growth as long as you find the right people, the right culture, and the tech stack is very relevant. And obviously there's synergy between the mothership and the new company. You need to know how to do M&A. It's a muscle that you need to train. Cassiopeia was our first M&A. We acquired 3 people, and it took us 3 months. And we acquired Mosaic 2 months ago, and it's 80 people. So I think we know better how to do it efficiently. But in general, I believe in M&A, and I believe in finding the right synergies. And hopefully we will be able to expand into new areas. So the acquisition of Mosaic allowed us to get to the CFO office as well. The acquisition of bugle was an acqui-hire, allowed us to build our learning model. So all in all, I think it's recommended direction for companies who can afford themselves to do it.
Super insightful, and yeah, Ronni, thank you very much for answering all of my questions. Super appreciated, and I learned a lot. And yeah, without further ado, Jacob, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah, thank you, Ronnie. You know, it's just interesting you're talking about Mosaic. We have been having a conversation with them. Me and my friends, we have started working on something like that for the company. We saw them presenting at Harvard. So you talking to me how you acquired them, something, you know, that is exciting because 2 days ago I've been Googling on their website just to try and see how transformative and things that they are doing. But yeah, I appreciate. So just moving on to go to the outlook and competitive landscape. As you know, in Israel, we have had the surge of startups in the HCM, like Papaya, Global Deal. And also, how do you see the overall HSM industry with the giants like Workday and SAP? Do you see any consolidation happening in the future?
Great question. I think the market is a big one. If you look at you can find point solution companies who are focusing on only one dimension. I don't know, hiring or learning or surveys or only payroll, and companies that are building a suite combination of all tools together. And you can find players in the specific geographies. So only in Germany or only in I don't know, in specific countries. We are a suite player. You mentioned Papaya and Deal.
Yeah.
They are in a different domain. They are more on the global payroll side and EOR. We are more on human capital management, the platform. Do I think there will be a consolidation in the market? I think AI will change the way companies are operating, and more specifically, the way that the HCM giant will act in the market. AI either can be a threat or a tremendous opportunity for companies to grow. So and that, you know, they have huge business. Look at the market cap and the revenues they are generating, and they are all growing very nicely. So I guess there's a room for many players.
I appreciate, you know, thank you very much. You know, just going into HiBob to be specific, you know, how is it really differentiating itself, especially considering how competitive that environment is? You know, what makes it unique?
We believe in Bob that putting people first is how you put business first. So people are your number one asset. They are the number one asset of any organization. When you grow, you hire people. When you build new product, you hire new people. And when you need to serve customers, you need people. So people are your number one asset, and therefore you need to be very careful about them and how to develop them, how to hire the right people, how to retain them. So, if people are the number one asset and they are the number one contributor to grow businesses, so they deserve to be managed by the best technology out there. So if I look at the way that the HCM market was evolving in the past 30 years, everything started as a system of record
Yeah.
to track record of individuals, of employees, and then move to a system of automation and resources. Workday and SAP SuccessFactors and Oracle Fusion were built into this automation, but they were mainly focusing on enterprise. And HiBob was inventing a new category. We invented a new definition. We called it system of engagement. It's not only about serving the HR administrator or the finance office. It's being able to interact with employees and managers as well as HR and finance. And in order to interact with people, you have to have an amazing experience by the user. So it has to be easy to use, intuitive, beautiful to the eyes, in the flow of work, that you'll feel engaged with the platform. You will love it. And also we thought about democratizing processes, moving it from silo exercises by HR and finance, how you empower managers to be part of the plans and the build. And the only way to do it is by building a flexible platform. And I think if I need to choose one word that explains why HiBob is so innovative and has a high potential to win the game, and the word is flexibility.
Wow. That's quite fascinating. Just a follow-up to this, right? This is a dynamic world, that is fast growing. How do you keep being innovative and also maintaining growth?
You have to practice it. If you stand still, then you will lose opportunities. Either you eat or you'll be eaten. That's a very, I would say, Darwinistic approach, but that's the reality. Let's take AI.
Wow.
You can ignore AI and say, yeah, it just another trend that will pass. Or you can take AI seriously and say, okay, what do I need to have? What do I need to build into the platform? And then how do I operate my company with leveraging AI? So when you talk about AI, it's basically talking about doing more, because it's not about saving hours on project. It's about being able to focus on the right things. So the repeatable workflows and things that can be easily automated, that should be the focus for companies to adopt AI. So innovation comes together with we call it keeping the lights on or feeding the beast. We have customers. We have 4,700 customers. They are the crown jewels of our business. We need to take care of them. And in parallel, we need to be always monitoring innovation on what to do and how to do things.
Wow, it's exciting to speak to a leader because we are learning a lot. But you've mentioned you're operating in different jurisdictions, and I know there are different rules and regulations. Which geography has been the most challenging business to operate in?
All it really depends. Europe is very advanced in GDPR, so things related to security and privacy, they are very sensitive about GDPR. So you really need to make sure that you understand the regulation and the compliance issues related to that. So that's a challenge. In the US, 50 states, federal and state regulations. That's a challenge by itself. But I think organizations, especially the modern ones, are more global than before. Remember the three M's I mentioned before. The third M was multinational companies. So you can find many customers who are local. They don't have any presence out of their country. But I think in the past 10 years, and especially after COVID, proved that organizations are global, multinational. And then the challenge is bigger, way bigger than a country, because you need to deal with complexities in so many countries. We have customers from 80 different countries and from 190 employed in 190 countries. So think about the complexity about how to manage HR compliance for so many countries.
Thank you very much. Just one last one from my end. I've realized you've done measures before you've sold. Looking ahead for HiBob, what's the next are we going for any IPO?
Yeah, IPO is always an option for us. We think about going public. We think we have the right story for the market. There is no sense of urgency to do it tomorrow. We will go when we're ready.
Brilliant. I'll turn on to my friend Yossi to ask the additional questions. Yeah.
Ronni, couple last questions. Maybe the hardest one and the funny one as well. So, any advice for entrepreneurs?
Do it. Don't
Just do
hesitate.
it.
Yes. It's the ultimate experience. If you spend your life without being an entrepreneur, then you miss something in your life.
Yeah, I agree. And a guy like you with tons of experience, do you have any mentor that impact you the most during your career?
Wow, I have so many, and I'm still having. Believe it or not, I it's not about a mentor or not mentor. It's, are you open to hear different opinions, to hear feedbacks, to listen to others? So I listen to my employees, the ones, especially the ones in the field, because they know exactly what's happening in the market. I talk to executives who build big companies, who build $1 billion revenue company on how to scale the business. And when I was younger, in my early days, I looked up to people around me and I said, "Wow, I want to be like them." I remember I was attending a conference in Tel Aviv. I think it was early, maybe 2002, and it was a tech event, and one of the entrepreneurs went on stage and he gave a speech about the company, and I said, I want to be on this stage as well. And I was on this stage afterwards.
Yeah,
So I think it's a combination of where you set the bar internally, and who you surround yourself with. There's all a
in-
great and experienced people around you. Just look for them.
inspiring. And you talking about mentors, also did a bachelor degree in history after all. Do you have any maybe historic figure that you wish to have a coffee with?
Mm, yes, but I give the credit to the answer to my daughter, because I thought about someone, and then she brought this name and said, "Wow, you're so right." I would take a dinner with Hitler. First question to me, what's going on with you? What did he have in his mind? So this is on like, wow. And who else? So many. I wish to have a conference that I will be sitting on one side of the table, and I will choose the rest of the participants to take a dinner with him. I will have hundreds of them that I wish to talk to them.
Fascinating. And please invite me to this dinner if you can. And last questions. Uh, Any special hobbies outside of work?
I do a lot on my well-being, balancing my life and my work. I do yoga. I do Pilates. I walk, I cycle. I like to read. So I read a lot. Historical books, by the way, because of my love to history. So my advice to your audience is making sure that you balance your life and your work. Make sure that you pay attention to your dear ones, your family, your spouses, your parents, your friends. Life goes by quickly. So care about every moment in your life and make sure that not every day, but most of your days, you invest in the right things that will make you happy and make you enthusiastic and passionate about stuff. And if not, move on. Don't spend time on things that you struggle or you pay too much for them. Move on. And it's relevant to your work. If you're happy in your work, then stay for many years. And if not, move on. Life is short.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, so Ronni, thank you very much for joining us. We learned a lot and super appreciate you again for answering my cold email. And was
You see, it
fascinating.
works.
It works. Yeah, just send the email. And yeah, so it was fascinating for us. We learned a lot. And for everybody else in the audience, stay tuned for our conference and other speakers. We have founder and CEOs of Sierra, Ireland, Redis, chairman of Wix, founder of Payoneer, and a bunch of other fascinating companies showcasing Israeli innovation. And we have also actually one other Spanish company, PLD Space. So we'll take you also to the outside of the atmosphere. Yeah. So Ronni, thank you very much again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thank you
you.
very
Bye-bye.
much, Ronni. Bye.